Hey gang, Chris Maholka here. I'm going to show you today how to dip a rod handle in magic marble to get a nice colored effect. This was a rod I built for a friend's daughter in pinks and purples. And what I'm doing today is I'm doing a grip that's going to be for a surf casting rod that I built. The blank is dark green, brighter blue wraps, and I'm going to dip the bright blue handle in blue, light green, and dark green magic marble. Magic marble is easy to use on different types of materials, but I found that you want to have the lightest color you want in the final product to be your base coat. This started out as a black EVA foam handle, and I've spray painted it with Krylon Color Max in this light blue color to be my base coat. So any areas that the magic marble doesn't cover will show through as the light blue. Because this paint is fairly expensive, it's $8.50 a 1 ounce bottle, which makes it $1,000 a gallon, you don't want to waste too much of it. If you use a 5-gallon bucket for your dipping vessel and you dip this item in, you can see how much extra space the paint's going to be covering that you're going to waste. So we need to find a dipping container that's about the same amount of space as the area you're going to cover. Here's an easy way to do that. If you take your item, lay it on a piece of paper, I've got it cut to length, and roll it up. We're going to put a mark on it and cut it to that mark. This is now the same amount of space as the item we're going to cover. So it's very easy to measure this without a lot of math. Measure it at 5 by 6 inches. That's 5 by 6, 30 square inches. It takes a drop of paint for every 4 square inches. So if you divide 30 by 4, gives you 7.5. That tells you how many drops of each color paint you'll need to cover this well. So let's give it a try here, and we're going to use a container that has roughly the same amount of space as the item we're dipping. That way our paint won't spread to the outsides and be wasted on the edge of the container. It should all go onto the item we're dipping. Now we've got our container filled with clear water. I'm going to use 4 colors instead of 3. I decided to use a light blue, a light green, a regular blue, and a dark green. You want to put these in the order of lightness to darkness, or at least that's been my preference for dipping. And you don't always have to put in, like we figured, 7 drops per container for the size of the item we're dipping. You don't have to put them in all at once. So we're going to do like 3 light, 3 light green, 3 blue, dark blue, and 3 dark green. And we're going to go back and do the other 3 or 4 so we get a pattern building up in the paint. And you do have to work fairly quickly. This paint does not stay dippable for hours. It has to be done fairly soon after you put it in the water. So we're going to swirl it around. And once we get the pattern mixed the way we like, we're going to take our item and we're going to dip it at an angle, and I'm going to kind of roll this as I dip it so you'll be able to see the pattern coming up as I go in. And you can move it around to the areas where there's more paint. And once it's dipped in, you can actually bring it back out if you've got a lot of paint left. And that will give you a nice swirled yellow and green color pattern, and areas of light blue that didn't cover now show through as nice bright blue because of the base color underneath the dip. Once the dip is finished, if you like the color combinations, you want to set it aside to dry for about 24 hours. If you don't like them when it's dry, you can recoat it with your base color spray paint again and redip it. If you do like the way it looks, I would recommend putting something over the surface. I like this Rust-Oleum lacquer. You can get it in glossy or semi-gloss or matte. And when that is finished curing from the lacquer, it can go onto the rod and your rod will be ready to fish. Thanks for watching.